This is simply going to be the process of creating. So this is pearl and it's Primo Accents. So I'm starting with that. You can start with whatever you like as a personal preference. Oops. Some Pardo professional art clay here. That's in a transparent clear. Or transparent. Let's see. So that's that one. And so I have that. And I have a whole bunch of alcohol inks. I have all different colors of ink here. I have more inks, especially the pearl variety, over here to my left. I have some Pinata, some Premier Jacquard like paints here that I don't know what I'm going to use. I think I may stick to alcohol ink by putting down a little bit of this Cosmic Shimmer, and these are gilding flakes. Basically it's just a whole bunch of broken up foiling paper, and I have it in this color also, and these also are Cosmic Shimmer gilding flakes. And the color of, I think we're going to start maybe by taking some of the silver, because I've been doing gold lately, but I do prefer silver. And when you open these, don't breathe, because it goes everywhere. I've had this for a while, I've used it some, and it still like expands like crazy. And it floats. See, it goes everywhere. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that down on my clay, just in spots. And I think I'm going to just make a pendant out of this, and you'll see how it comes out, because I'll work this through the whole video. And, oh, what is that? Little twig of something. And I'm just trying to kind of get it out to a single layer and make it, you know, kind of, well, single layered. And with this it's kind of hard because it's all kind of folded up on itself, and I don't want too much, because there's a good chance that if I put the other layer of the Pardo translucent on top, that it may not stick that well. I want to make sure I leave my edges, or leave enough space for edges. I guess I should say it that way. There's a pretty rainbowy pink color over here that I really wish was in there. This is me trying to be picky and get maybe some more of that pink color. Yes, I got a little. I think I'm going to put the cover back on. And we'll try to get this little piece over here. There. And there. Okay. I get a little silicone tool to try to help myself. Now, I'm not going to play music. There may be times in the video where I'm quiet. If you need music, feel free to pick your favorite tunes and play it while you watch my video. You'll probably like that better than anything I would pick anyway. Okay. So there is, I'm just trying to make sure it's all stuck down to the clay. Oh, there's a piece floating around. Put it right there. Okay, so let's see. I really like that pinky color. And so I may go with some of the Pinata ink in Senorita Magenta. If I can get it out of the package. There we go. So, Senorita Magenta. And it's kind of that pretty pink color. And I've been trying to decide how I'm going to put the color on here, because that can be a little tricky too. I don't want to get it all over my hands, but I don't want to put a glove on either, so wish me luck. Okay, and these have kind of a bigger opening, so they're not exactly easy. I'm just going to put a little bit on the sponge and see how that does. Oh, not too bad. And as you can see, it will go on to the foil too. I'm just hoping it keeps a little shimmer. And I don't want to overdo any one color because I have a lot of alcohol ink. So with the pink, let's see. Oh, I know, I want to try some of my pearls. So let's do Celestial. And this is pearl, so you can hear the ball mixing it up because the mica goes to the bottom. So I'm going to shake that up a little bit. Okay, and you can see the name of this here is Celestial. And this is a Ranger ink. And this one I'm just going to drop a drop on there. Ooh, I don't know if you can see it sparkle, but wow. It's actually got movement. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. I'm going to put a little bit more over here. There. That's Celestial. And alcohol ink will reactivate other alcohol ink. And just in case I want to play around and move it a little more, I do have a Ranger mister, and it has alcohol in it that I can spray if I need to. Now I'm going to go back to the Senorita Magenta, and I'm going to try just putting a drop out and doing the same thing over here. Go back to my magenta spot and just do a little bit of that. Okay, and let me see, what else do I have? Let's see, that's just a regular ink. Here's a pearl purple. Let's try some of that. Shake it up. Ooh, that's got some sizzling going on too. Okay, I'll get another corner. Trying to keep it somewhat cohesive. I'm going to try some of this Enchanted, which is a pearl pink. The Senorita Magenta is not a pearl ink. That's just a plain Pinata ink. And I believe Pinata I don't know, so I'm not going to say. Let me try some of this Enchanted. Ooh, that's not right. Not quite the right color. But I will put 2 drops. I don't know if you can see the sizzling, but wow, it is sizzling. Actually, not too bad. Kind of tones down the Senorita magenta. Okay. Then I might try. I wish I had a green. Is that green? Oh, Envy. That's green. Spring is coming. And tomorrow's my birthday. So I thought making myself a new pendant might be kind of fun. Or making it for someone I love. Haven't decided. Green is my favorite color, so I think I will put a good amount of that in there. Excuse me. Ooh, yes, I do like Envy. Yep, and I got a dog hair. Or a cat hair, not sure which. That might not be bad. That's looking kind of pretty. Kind of looks like a bouquet. So let's see, what else should I do? I want to see. I have in the piñata, shake it up because it looks like it's a metallic. It's rich gold. So I think I'm going to try putting a little of that in there. There's no ball in that, but it seems to be mixing up okay. It had separated out to like green with the metallic ink laying in it. So let's see what this does, shall we? I'll put a little bit here. Almost takes on the cast of that Envy. Just with a little bit of a gold sparkle. Yeah, I'll use the green corner. Ooh, pretty. Okay. Well, I guess the one thing I should do is I do have some, I have to let that dry because I can't put any other layer on it until it is dry. But, pardon the crinkling, I do have some cutters. But I might experiment a little. Because I have these, they're kind of a leaf shape. And I kind of like that big one. So that's a possibility. And I also have these fluted ones that also have a straight edge, so they could go either way. I could do them as the rippled or as a straight. And I would probably do it straight. So that's a possibility. And then I also have these Makins, which are oval shaped. And they would probably make a really cute earring. Oops, earring. So I don't know. Let's see. We shall see. I'll move those aside. Of course, I have probably earring shapes in all kinds of things. Like that teardrop would make a really cute earring, but you wouldn't get much of the color variation in there. So we'll let this dry, and I will take my Pardo and get that conditioned out so I can lay it over the top, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I thought I would stop. Pardo is not like conditioning other polymer clays, because Pardo has actually got a beeswax binder in it. So to me it's harder to condition. It's just a different kind of clay. But I thought I would stop at this point because I also went and I picked up my Glamour Dust, which is a really fine white glitter. And then I also have this chunkier silver glitter. And I'm thinking that while I'm conditioning this, I'm going to put a little bit of the Glamour Dust here, and see if I can make it look like it has depth. That there will be shimmer in this top coating, and then it'll be the metallic and the pearl shimmer in the bottom. So I am going to sprinkle. I don't know if it's showing up on this camera, but there, I put some of the Glamour Dust on there. I'm actually thinking about running this back through my pasta machine too once it's dry. So anyway, I'll be back as soon as I get this worked in some. Okay, so I did run this through a little bit. I actually just ran it through on the biggest setting, and I just put a piece of deli paper over the top of it and ran it through together just so none of this would stick in my clay machine. And then that's what this looks like. I don't know if the little bit of glitter I put in there will come through. But that's what that looks like. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of this chunky glitter, and I'll just use my, and just kind of sprinkle that in there. Kind of has a mirrored appearance. I don't need a whole lot of this. It's just to give it a little bit of extra sparkle. Okay. Kind of bumps up what the alcohol ink may have taken out of the foil. And then try to get the cat hair off of my translucent. There. And there are a few like spots on here from my clay rollers. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. So now I'm just going to try to cover this up the best that I can. It's not going to be the same size, and that's fine. And I think I'm going to go back to my clay machine after I burnish this down some. I'm going to put that mess on the inside and then just rub it with my hand just to try to get all the air out and get those two pieces of clay kind of in together. Don't want that all over my hands either. There. So I'll just do it like this. Let's see how that goes. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to take it and run it through my pasta machine. Okay, and that's one time through the pasta machine, and I probably should have expected the crackle, but that's okay. I'm playing and just experimenting. So that's what happened when I ran it through the widest setting one time. And this is because the Pardo is more brittle than the Primo Accents Pearl with its beeswax. So since it crackled and it's kind of got a floral feeling, I thought I would try one of my folders, it's actually for paper. It's a Sizzix embossing folder. And so it has two sides. It has a deboss side and it has an emboss side. And I think I'm going to go for embossing on the pretty side. I think I'm going to start by cutting this in half. I'll cut it right here. And I'll put one aside and move this into the middle. And it's big enough that I could fit both of my cutters on if I wanted to. So let's just see. In order to use the embossing folder, it's going to require that I use a release. And the release I'm going to use is just this bottle of water. And I'm going to spray both sides. I don't know if I can get this under here and show you. Let's see. So I just, oh, I have strong hands. And I'm spraying it on the folder, and I'm just going to wipe it around a little bit. And that's both sides because I don't want my clay to stick. I'll close it and kind of mash it around a little bit. And I'm not going to put any water on my clay because that should be plenty on this folder. And like I said, I want the pretty side to be the part that's, I think, raised, and I think this will do it. So I'm just going to try to put this in here where I get the most bang for my buck. And then I'm just going to put this down. I use my fingers to press on it some. I got to stand up, and I'm just going to run my roller across it. Just to try to get the imprint of my folder. This is like a bark design. You can see there's even a wood eye in there, so that's good. So let me turn this over because that's where the color is, and let's see how we did. Ooh, that's pretty cool looking. Okay, let me get that out of here very gently. Oh, very gently. Needs to be peeled up. Just going to use the side of my finger and gently release it. And it just comes right off, and then you can just wipe this out and use it for paper or more polymer, whatever you desire. So let me put that back down, kind of seal the edges back up. Okay, I think I'm at the point now where I'm going to try cutting something out and see how it comes out. And just a sec, I may try to just get the big oval to start with right here. And then with this crackle, I'm going to try for that. I think that looks pretty good. Right now I just have to find something to press it down with because my hands are not good. And I have another tile here coming back. So I'm just going to put another tile down. You can use an acrylic block if you want. I'm just going to use this tile and push. Sorry if that shook the camera. And I think this cutter is a little bit higher than this cutter, so I don't think that cutter cut. Let's just make sure. Okay, I think it cut. And when I bake, I put deli paper down. And that I bought on Amazon. And I'll show you what that looks like. It's Logan. And it's, and there's 500 sheets in the box. So, yeah. So when I bake, I'll put one of these sheets down underneath the, my piece so that it doesn't get all shiny and kind of funky looking on the back. So let me see if I can pull these out of here. And what I'm going to do is pull the outside away first. And save this because these make great beads, and I could probably even get maybe a pair of earrings out of the leftovers. So those will be the pendants. I think they look pretty cool. Yeah, they're going to look really nice. I hope. And put my cutters back. So let's see. I probably need to put a back on these. So let me go condition some clay and decide what color I want to use. And I'll be right back. Okay, I found the end of a cane that was gold and white. And it had a few other colors, well, golds in it, yellows. And I thought that might make a nice back, so I just rolled it out on my clay machine and I cut it out again with the cutter. And I think that's going to look pretty. I'm not sure what else I'm going to do to this. We'll have to see. But I thought right now what I would do, I'll put this aside for a minute and move everything again. Of course, I shouldn't put that on felt. Just put it over here. And I'm just going to roll this up, hopefully without the dog hair. And I'm going to soften this up a little more. And if you don't have a pasta machine, you can still do all of this. It's just you use your acrylic rod and you roll it. Push it down a little bit and just use your flat surface and your rod and smooth it out and, you know, fold it over and do it some more. Let's see, I think I'm going to need a little bit more than this, maybe. Well, maybe not. There's probably enough there, but I could do another backing. But I think I just have to decide which side I like, and I think I like the predominantly gold side. So let me get my stamp. I got these from RJ Crafts, and she's not taking new online orders right now, but they're pretty close to opening back up. Lots of cool things on that site. And I think I've used the K-Bell a few times on a couple of times on my owl pendants. I think for this one, I'm going to use Kelly Bell. So, and I won't use it on the other one because I've already put it together and I don't want to mash the front. So we'll just do this right here. I think we're going to have to do it about like that. I'm just going to press it down and pull it up. And it says Kelly Bell. Yay! That's me. I know. Let me put these away. I have enough stuff all over. So there's that. Let me pick this up because I want that to be the outside of the bag. So I just have to pick it up and turn it over gently. Oh, let me see where the top is. Yeah, I want that to hang like that. So Kelly's at the top for me. Let's see, and I think I want this to be like that. So I'm just going to put it together. It's all raw clay, so it should stay together really well. And then I just need to put the cutter on it again. Whoop. Push it down. And I'll just pull this all off and save this because I can use this, mix it with other stuff another time. And there's that. I just have to use my blade and get this off the tile. I'll just lift it up. This is Kelly Bell. I think that's going to be really pretty. And then these edges, I can figure out what to do with. If I want to bevel them, I could do that now too. If I wanted to change the edge a little bit, that would be good. But I kind of like that. I want to see what it looks like when the Pardo goes translucent. So what I'm going to do right now is just put these on my paper, and then I'm just going to go around with my silicone tool and my fingers and kind of press stuff together like this. And you can still see the embossing from the embossing folder. And then I just want to maybe get that gold edge to go in just a little. Okay, I'm going to pick it up and just kind of look at it. Make sure I'm okay. Like, if you can see right in here, it looks like there's some foil right on the edge. So I may have to do something with the edges to get the, see? I just love that. To get the two pieces to stay together. Now the next thing I can decide is if I want to form them. Which means something as simple as a light bulb. See, recycling. It's a very good craft for recycling. But I can use something as simple as this light bulb. I'm just trying to get other stuff off of it from previous clays. But I could take this big oval that's got the knot from the tree in it, and I can set this on top and then gently push it down on here. Now this means this back will be shiny when it comes out of the oven. Plus I'm trying to do it so the Pardo doesn't crack and split, because it's kind of cool in my room today. This is March 8th. And it's still pretty cool here in upstate New York, although it is a beautiful day. So I think maybe I will try to do it like that, because it's going to give it kind of a, well, maybe I won't do it like that, but it would give it a curved shape. Let me just lay that back down. But you can do that. You can change the shape by laying over forms. All kinds of things. Right now I'm going to move these aside again, and I'm going to pull some of my scrap back, because I have a couple of nice pieces here that have some pink in them, and I'm going to pull this little teardrop cutter out, and I'm just going to cut a couple of little earrings out. I'm not going to bother putting backings on the earrings. I'm just going to cut them. And then maybe I'll do, I can't get 2 out of that. That's too bad. But I could get some out of this. So we'll try to see so I get some of the good parts. I'll cut one there. And then I'll cut one over here. Can I get one out of here? I think I can. Okay. Well, that's an odd number, but this way I can pick and choose which ones I like the best, which is always a good thing. And I do have this piece that's just kind of an extra piece, so I won't bother with that. So let me pull these off. This I'm just going to make something else out of, so I'm just going to put all of these pieces together. And you can mix these up and it'll form an even nicer color with the alcohol inks and all that blended together. So all I'm going to do with these is I've moved my pendants over to this other tile for baking. And I'm just going to pick up my little teardrop shapes, which could be charms, they could be dangles in a bracelet, they could be little pieces on the by the connector of a necklace chain, or they could be drop earrings. And you could also form these over a little curved part to make them have some dimension. But I'm just going to put them on my other tile and bake them in the oven. And we'll see how they come out. So there are those. And then, if you remember, I still have this whole piece. So now I can figure out what else I might want to do with that. But I'll save that for another time. Right now I think I'm going to work on these 2 pendants and some earrings. And I will be back after they bake. I'm going to put them in a 275-degree oven for an hour. And we're going to bake it. You have to decide your oven. And you have to look at the directions for baking on the package. And this says Pardo is 248 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. So I have to kind of average that with the Primo, which is a 275 for an hour. So I'll probably do it at 275 and just keep an eye on it. I'll probably tent it, which tenting it just means that I'm going to take, and this is what that looks like when you, because I just sat here playing with it, and this is what those, that translucent and pearl clay look like when that's just mixed in. So maybe we'll play with this again another time. But tenting, for me, just means like this is a single deli sheet, but it's got a fold. So generally what I do, let me move this out of the way. Generally what I do is I'll just take the sheet and I'll just fold this over and bake it like that. And that just, if I have any oven flares or anything, doesn't scorch the top of my pendants. And with pearl clay and translucent clay, you have to be really careful because it might get dark pretty quick. So anyway, I'm going to put those in the oven and I'll be back. Well, this is actually the next day. Everything's out of the oven and it's really cooled off and nice. Some of the detail from the embossing folder kind of disappeared with the Pardo translucent. I think the beeswax doesn't hold it as well. I mean, you can still see some texture in the piece, and that's good. I mean, it looks kind of, I don't know, bumpy and nature-like, so that's a good thing. And I think you can see the difference, although I don't think this piece is showing up as bright as it really is. I mean, this pink is really like a fluorescent pink. It's kind of pretty, actually, especially with the green around it. So, yeah, I really like it. And I was thinking that that might be nice kind of as drops off of a pendant here. And then these two would make nice corresponding earrings with that pendant. So I have to knock off the edges a bit and polish these up. A lot of people use sandpaper or a Dremel tool or even a sander. And I have all of those things. I rarely use sandpaper. Frankly, it takes too long. I generally dip my pieces in water and then use my Dremel to take off part. I also use, I'm going to have to get it. I also use, to get the, like the parts that might not be the smoothest and might need to be taken off, I will use an emery file and then just go around and take some of the roughest parts off. And for the edges, I will try to do it like from the back, so it bevels the edge a little bit. But when you do this, you do want to wet sand because you don't want that dust flying up and you don't want to breathe it in. But yeah, so that's what I have to do with this. I'm going to do that. Then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. And that's all I'm going to be doing at this point, is sanding it down some and maybe giving it a little bit of a buff. I will probably resin these pieces, so we will be doing that too. And I will, oh, I should show you how nice, take this out of the way. I should show you how nice that stamp comes out on the back of the polymer, because this is baked, and in the regular clay it holds up really well. So I really like that. I may actually use that and make myself like a pair of dog tags. I think that'd be kind of cool. Anyway, I'll be back. So I thought I would just take a minute and show you the dust that you get with working on just even lightly sanding and polishing polymer clay. Now I don't polish to a high shine because I'm going to put resin on these pieces, but yeah, so that all of this, I don't know if you can even see it all, but all of this just is from these few little pieces. So definitely, if you're going to work with this stuff, you should wear a mask just to keep the dust particles out of your lungs. That's my PSA for today. Okay, I am going to try to show you this, but I don't know how successful I will be. I use UV resin. This is probably from China, and I think I ordered it on Amazon. I will try to find the links. Anyway, I have a silicone point kind of polymer clay tool. It's just got a little loop at the end for pulling off excess clay. So all I'm going to do is put a puddle in the center of my piece, and I'm going to do one at a time. And this is self-leveling, so I'm just going to get it started out, and you can kind of see how much the resin really brings out the color and stuff. Now I also have a paintbrush that I use because I'll paint the sides, and then once I'm done with the top and the sides, I will also resin the back. Right now I'm just pulling the resin out to the edges. And you could do this with a paintbrush too. I'm not looking to make my resin incredibly thick. I am just wanting to get it out to the edges. And I'll just clean my silicone tool up with some 99% alcohol, which will break the UV resin down. There we go. And I think this is just like a hot mat trivet made out of silicone that I bought at maybe the dollar store. So, and I just cut it up and put it on a little block of wood, which is a trick because glues don't want to adhere to silicone either. Okay, so I'm going to let this level a little bit, and I'll work on the other one. And then I'll just take a look at this. I may have to put another coat on it, which is fine. I am trying to get it out to the edges without it going over. Let's see what it does to this one. I think it's going to make the Glamour Dust in the Pardo translucent really stand out, which will be really pretty. And these parts that I'm showing you, I'll leave in real time so you can see how long it takes. Although I will be putting this under my lamp, which it's just a resin UV lamp that I got from Tiny Pandora online, and I will put a link to that also. It works really well. I had just a regular nail lamp. I think you need at least 36 watts or so for it to really be effective. But you can get one from anywhere. Okay. think it looks pretty good. I'm just putting some extra on and letting it level itself. Just wipe my tool off on a piece of paper towel for now. I'm going to put the top back on my resin. And I'm going to put this under the lamp for, it shouldn't take very long, but I usually do it for 15 to 30 minutes. Just because I want to make sure it is fully set before I touch it. Had to go get my lighter because you run, make that a little bit bigger, because you run this, you don't touch it, you just run it over the surface, and then any bubbles in the resin come to the surface and pop. Oops, a little flare there, didn't mean to. Okay, I'm going to put this in the UV lamp and I will be back. Okay, so while I wait for those to come out, I'm going to go ahead and do these little pieces too. I did give these just a really quick buffing with my Dremel. Nothing too intense. And I'm just putting a little drop of resin on each of these pieces. And I'm going to use the same tool. Be a lot easier if they were stuck down. But they aren't. So let me see. I'm going to reach and grab myself a needle, because that's what I have handy. And just work it. Maybe getting a little of it all over. There. I just have to pull some down here and pull some back. Not really a lot to talk about, just trying to make sure I get it out to the edges. That resin was looking really pretty right there. There's something really shiny right inside this piece. It looks like a piece of foil, and it's beautiful. I may put another drop of resin on the rounded ends of these just to dome them up a little. There. And then let me get this one. And that's the nice thing about UV resin is it is fairly self-leveling. So as long as you coax it to where you would like it, it pretty much levels itself back up. And that is really nice. Yeah, these are looking really pretty. Just trying to make sure I'm all the way to the edges. And I do have the pendant pieces in under the UV light for 30 minutes. And I will hit these with a flame too, just to make sure there's no bubbles. I wipe my tools off. And give each of these another shot of resin. hoping it doesn't go over. There. And I'm just going to let that sit a minute or a second. And yeah, when I got this resin, it actually came in a box. So that makes it handy because I just keep putting it back in the box. And this resin seems to go kind of a long ways. So that I'm just going to hit these with a flame just to make sure that any bubbles trapped inside come up. And then I will put these under the lamp when the pendants come out, and then I will come back and show you what they look like. Well, so I've been messing with the resin, and it's about where I want it. It's not perfect, but then I want this to look kind of natural. You can see that I've sanded down the sides some with my Dremel, and yeah, I really like this. I think it came out really pretty. And here's this one. And while I was waiting for some of the extra resining to finish, I was playing around with the pieces. And I think these two look kind of like good earrings to go with this piece. And then I had these 3 chips left. So let me move this piece and the earrings out of the way. And I will show you this piece. I was thinking that this would look cute to have drops coming off the end and to hang it like this from both sides and have it go up on a, you know, a cord. So I also went through a bunch of my beads, crystals and beads and different things, and found things that I really like. So let me get this tile out of here. I can actually get this paper out of here too. You can just lay it right on the gray felt. So I figured I could like hang it like that. And then I just needed something to go between these pieces and my pendant because I didn't want to just hang them off of jump rings. So these are some of the beads that I pulled out to look at to see if I had anything that I really liked. Not that silver one. I found that for something else. But I had some green, and I tried putting those in here to see if I like these. And they looked really nice. I mean, I like the way that kind of offsets the pink. And it's kind of a nice light spring look. And I also had these pinkish red pieces that I think also look kind of pretty. And I also have these small green pearl-like beads that I think would also be pretty. So your imagination is the only thing that limits how you can use these things, because you wouldn't necessarily even have to string it like this. You could just use it as a pendant without these pieces. Just put a bail on it, string it up, and you'd have a nice pendant. You could even put something on the face of this, like take some E6000 and put a charm on here. You know, depending on what this makes you think of, whether it be celestial or maybe a cross for Easter or a cat's head, a mermaid, something galactic. Your choice is endless. And I really like this, but I haven't done a lot of hanging like this, so I thought that I would try this for a change. And I really think that maybe having these up closer and maybe this one down further away would be pretty, or even as like this up close and then have these dangle at varying heights. That would be pretty. You know, decisions are decisions. And I laid them out like this because I think it kind of follows the way my pendant looks. It looks like this color is kind of draining to there, and then you have this light color, and then it goes to this darker color. So that was my thought behind that. And I guess that's what I'm saying, is how you handle things. And excuse that noise, that's two of my dogs playing off to the side because they have to be wherever I am. Yeah, it's how your mind works, what you think is pretty and what you enjoy. And yeah, that makes it really a unique and personal thing. So let's see. I would have to drill holes because I do kind of know where I want my holes at this point. But that's really the only thing I've settled on, because I'm thinking I would like some seed beads to actually string these things here, and then maybe add crystals to them. And I do have, let me open, I have this box of beads. I have many boxes of beads. Once you get into doing things like this, you collect an amazing amount of everything. But I also have these really light pink crystals that I think are pretty. That would also work in here. And maybe if this one was strung a little bit further away, I could do something with, say, the green pearls or the green crystals, depending on how big I want to make this. Like, I don't think I would put two crystals that size in between, but who knows what I want to do. I think the reason I like this green better than the pink is because I felt the pink in size kind of overwhelmed the drops, where the green is a smaller size and it wasn't quite so overwhelming to the drop. So see here, you can see the green with that drop. But if I change it to the pink is a little bit, is bigger and takes, I think, personally, just my opinion. You could have a completely different opinion, and I respect that. But to me, that just takes away from the impact of that little drop. So, that being said, I have to drill the holes in here. I think at this point, I'm just going to use my old pin vise, which will drill holes through here. There are lots of videos out online that show you how to drill holes through resin and clay. And the reason I wait till after I resin to drill the holes is because if I drill the hole before I resin, the resin will fall down in the hole and block it anyway. So this is just easier. If I find that I'm having too much slippage or my hands aren't able to control this well enough, because I did have hand surgery on both of my hands. I don't know if you can see the scars, but my fingers aren't quite as dexterous as they used to be. I do have a Dremel that I can plug in and use to drill small holes. So let me get started on this, and I'll come back and show you my progress. Well, first I suppose I should show you this. I'm going to do them in this order. And the way I'm going to determine where to mark my holes is I'm going to take, let's see if I can find my small ruler, which I can't, so I'm just going to use a regular school ruler, and I'm going to say that this is 2.5 inches. So my pendant is 2.5 inches wide at the widest point. So 2.5 inches, it's a little bit more than 2.5 inches. So I want to make this fairly even. So 2.5 is 1 1/4, and it goes like this far over. So I might put my hole, my first hole here somewhere. And I hope you can see that. So I'm going to count that. And if you don't like that hole, which I'm thinking I don't, I'm going to take a little of my, I shouldn't use 91% because it could affect the resin. I'm just going to use some of my low percentage alcohol that I keep in these spray bottles. And I'm just going to spray a little bit on a paper towel. And Sharpies are alcohol ink, so I'm just going to wipe it off, and you won't ever even know it was there. Just a tip. So, and I have to say, I never measure. I always eyeball. So I want that straight for me, and I want my little pieces to be here. And okay, sorry about that. My son called. He's in New York City, so we've been in touch quite frequently lately. Yeah, so I found my see-through ruler, because like I said, I don't do a lot of measuring. But I like to, yeah. So if you were going to measure, you would just go here, and then I would go to the center part, and then see what kind of distance you like between your pieces, and then just try to make these either symmetrical or asymmetrical. I mean, again, that comes back to personal preference and what you like. Yeah, so I'm just going to take my Sharpie, and the only reason I'm using my Sharpie is because it helps me make sure the point of my pin vise stays in the right place. So I am going to say that I want this piece to fall right about here. And then, I don't know, is that about 1/2 inch? I don't know. I'm doing a lot more measuring and stuff because I'm doing this video than I would normally. And so, yeah, that's about, this is 1/2 inch right here. And that's about the start of this hot pink. So I think I will put this right here. And you notice I'm going back a bit from the edge. And now my Sharpie's not going to Sharpie. There it goes. So let me just see. Put that on the 0. Yeah, so that's just a little bit past the 1/2 inch, because that's the 1/2 inch there. And so that's okay. So let me just do that here. So this one would go right about here. I'm going to pull that back just a little. So that's about where those holes would be. And as far as stringing goes, I don't want to string it here because I don't want it to tip too forward. So I think I'm going to, when I put holes up here, I think I'm going to do this at like a, I mean, I could do it here, and it could be a single entry with like a big bail that strings through. And that's how I like to do most of my pendants. And actually, I was thinking about doing it too, but I'm thinking I might just stick to one because I do like that. So let me see if I put it right about there. I think that looks like it'll be okay. And then I'll do like some seed beads or something in a big bail. Maybe I'll do it like this with green crystals and some seed beads going into those crystals. And then I will do maybe a pink one. I'll go into this. See if I have another green one. Here's another green one. It's a little bit darker of green. And now that I see that green, let me see if I have 3 more of those green, because they are a little bit darker than the green that I have at the bottom, and I think they go more with the color. So let me move these. Here, I'll show you the difference. That's the difference in those crystals right there. So I think instead of those pale green, let me see what these darker green look like. And the dark green ones are about the same size as these light green ones. So they're not as big as the pink ones. So, and then I would hang these off of here. I would just have to find the seed beads I want to use to connect them. And then I kind of like this pink crystal at the top. You know, put the green one towards the bottom and then put this pink one. And then I could just run a cord, which I think would be really pretty. Okay, so let me drill those holes. I guess I can show you how I would start them. And I'll do it from the main one at the top. I would put my drill here, right on my dot. Move these out of the way. And then, I don't know if I can do this without my hand getting in the way. Now, so all I'm doing is turning it, kind of like you would turn a screwdriver, but this has a drill bit on the end. So it's just going to drill a hole. And what I really want to do at first is just kind of impress a starter hole. I don't know if you can see that, but there's my starter hole. And then once I get a good hole in there, I can just turn this and it will drill through, because my palm rests against here and this is just loose and it turns. So when I hold this here, I can just turn the whole thing here without really letting go of it. Of course, I can't set mine in my palm because of surgery. Mine's really up on the knuckle pad of my hand, which is a little unwieldy, but, and I'm trying to keep it perpendicular to the table so that I don't wind up with a slanted hole or knocking off a piece of the resin. I don't know if you can tell that. I do have another pin vise that has multiple bits, but I've used this one for years and I've never had any trouble with it. Of course, I am getting white resin dust and I'll have clay dust all over my table, so I'm going to put a piece of paper towel down. And I won't make you sit through every hole. I'm just going to show you the one. I don't know if you can see the silver stripe above this gold, but I did take a silver paint pen to see if I wanted to edge it. So that's what that is. Boy, this is taking a while. I think my Dremel would be easier. But my Dremel's also louder. But I'll leave this at normal speed so you can see how long this takes me. I mean, if your hands work better than mine and you have better strength and dexterity, it would probably go through a lot quicker. I don't even think I'm through the resin yet. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to get my Dremel out for the other 3 holes in here. And those little pieces are going to be challenging too. And as far as any little residue, like from my Sharpie, that I hold it and take out, I can just wipe that off with alcohol too. hands are getting tired. This is where I wish I had one of those like bookbinding drills that you could push up and down and it drills kind of by itself. It's manual, but it is easier. And I'm not feeling, well, maybe I do feel it coming through. The hole's deep enough now that it's holding the pin vise, so we're good. There it goes. Oh, it broke a little bit of the clay in the back. That's okay. I'm going to untwist it. Because you can really do anything to fix little things like this. And once I put my beads and bail on here, it won't show anyway. I'll show it to you. So there you go, and the hole goes through nice and clean. So I'm going to drill these holes down here, and I was just thinking that it might be better, whoop, not with those, if I hang these like this with the points down, and I put the hole in the wider part, and that kind of gives them more of a leaf-like look, and I kind of like that. That they'll look more like leaves. So, and that kind of makes me happy. So let me make these holes and I'll be back. Okay, well, I haven't done any of the holes, but I thought I would show you. I took my Dremel apart. The way this goes is this is called a collet, and it actually is the part that widens and shrinks to hold the different drill pieces and stuff in. And that goes in, and then this kind of bolt thing goes on top of it. And by screwing that down, it changes the width of the piece that holds. Now, this is the size of the post on my sander, and that fits that collet. But if you look, this is the smallest drill bit I have. It's really tiny, and it's only a little bit bigger than the pin drill that I have. So obviously the collet that holds that sander is not small enough to hold that other piece. So I'm going to take that out, and then I have a package of Dremel drill bits, and I also have a new collet package that has different size collets in it. It's called a collet nut bit, a collet nut kit. Now I just have to open the blister pack, which is always the hardest part for me. I know I have one of those cutters that cuts these open too. I'll just do it like this. Okay, and that's why these videos take so long, is because not everybody is experienced and has seen all of this stuff. So, you know, you want to give as much information as possible. So I am going to, and here you can see the difference in the collet. So I'm going to put this one into my Dremel, and then I'm going to put this drill bit in. I put this on. I'm going to pull this up just a little. Oops. You have to put your finger on the locking button. And then you just screw this on until it's tight. It's holding that drill piece in very well. I just want to make sure that drill is long enough. It is. Okay, and I'm not going to drill on screen, but mine has a 1 to a 5. And this is how much noise it makes. Oops. When I plug it in. Not plugged in. Sorry. I never put my stuff together with my equipment plugged in because accidents happen. Okay, now it's plugged in. So at 1, that's not really bad, I guess, but I think it can be annoying. So I will drill the holes in my piece, and I'll put my holes in these, and I'll be back. Yeah, so this is the piece all cleaned off, no more Sharpie. And as you can see, as you know probably, there are as many choices in seed beads as there are, I don't know, snowflakes, I guess. But I was thinking that these beads, these are Toho. See if I can get them there. These are... I think they're size 15s. These are matte rainbow fire, maybe. But I think they're a size 15. And I thought that was a really pretty color. And it kind of looks like the hot pink color a little bit. And then I have this olive green type seed bead that is also kind of pretty. And then there's always the Rocales. And these are just aligned clear. And I think these are a 15 also. They're really small. Probably can't even see them there. But there are 2 of them right there. So let me see. I may see if I can find some size 11s, but I may just go with the size 15s because I'm just doing connection with them, a bail. And I will probably use, let's see, I have all kinds of Nymo, so I will probably use that. That's a smoke color. I think that's a white one. So I have all kinds of colors I can try with Nymo. And I may start doing this, and then I'll come back and show you my choice and how I'm doing it. Well, I did elect not to show beading because my hands just don't work the way they used to when it comes to little stuff. So I was kind of struggling. I did experiment. I decided to try different types of beading, and you can see I did each one of these a little bit differently. I did use the green crystal in each piece. I think this one's my favorite. but it was fun to try different things. I don't know. And all I did was use a pinch bail at the top, and I strung it, sorry, on just a plain pink leather cord. So, yeah, I think that's kind of cute. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's not really a tutorial. It was just a craft with me and kind of showing you my process, my thinking process. Although I didn't show you everything in its entirety. If you have questions, I'd more than happy to answer them. Just put them in the comment box below. Thanks for watching. Remember, be kind and be courageous. And in all things, be colorful. Thanks for watching.